Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Coffees with Toffees podcast. I will be your host, Flubb, and this is the Brewmaster's Draft, a show where we talk a little bit about Dota and a little bit about beer. As always, I have my lovely my lovely host who just distracted me just for a second because his camera went out real quick, but nonetheless lovely, and you can see his face, his beautiful face now, so happy to see him again. Kimbrell, how you doing today?
Good. Doing good. It's Friday. I'm kind of happy it's Friday. I don't know. I don't have a job right now. So, well, actually, I do have a job right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked last Friday about potential jobs and all that stuff. And I interviewed and got a job, dude.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I'm doing really well. I don't have a job today, but Monday I will start my job.
Oh, man, going into the grind.
Yeah, man. So, and it's kind of cool because I get to essentially create my own hours. I have to work it's salary based, so hours don't really necessarily matter. Like I can work overtime, or they said the minimum hours per day they require is 5. So on Fridays, I go in like 8 o'clock, leave like, and this is all Central Time, you know, go in at 8 o'clock, leave like 2. And then be home in time for this and some beers and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm pumped. So
yeah, that's a good way to wrap up the week, as always, you know.
Yeah, man. What about you? How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. I am back above 5,000 MMR. I'm actually 5,150 almost at this point. So if I can get back up to 5,200, I'll be in the 1% again. So I'm like, that is my goal, to get back to the 1%. And, you know, also with all the stuff with Zombie Panda Studios that we both have been doing, I'm really getting excited about that as well. So, a lot coming into the works lately, and I can't wait to get started. So, let's start talking about beers here. What beer are you drinking tonight?
Okay, so I have a crap load of leftover beer. I have so much, and I'm not talking like for me just buying beer. I'm talking from the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
We bought so much Corona and so much Shiner for people to drink. I don't think anyone touched the Corona, to be honest. And I think only a few touched the Shiner because we also had an open bar, and I think everyone was like, open bar, free liquor. We're just going to take advantage of that instead of beer. So I have just a Shinerbock today. That's all I have. Nothing special, nothing fancy. I've had plenty of these. So I probably won't be. I can tell you more about it at the end of the show. I don't know. I can give it a rating. It's always going to be 5. It's my favorite go-to. But yeah, it's leftover beer, man. There's so much of it. And my mother-in-law has been like, please come get this out of my garage. So that's what I'm doing as I'm taking care of that. I needed a reason. I needed an excuse to take care of it, and that's what I'm doing today. Also, for some reason, I guess I didn't realize this. We decided to do our show on Friday, so now I have no issue just drinking all of it, like however much I can, because it's Friday. So, but yeah, that's what I got today. What about you? What do you have?
Nice, man. I don't know if I've had this. I think I've had this on the show, and if it is, I'm repeating 1 out of 17 shows, so not too bad. It's Gumball Head. I don't know if I've ever talked about it before, but It is like, it's from 3 Floyds, so it's one that you guys have heard probably a few times now. I've drank a lot of their beers. These are my family, like all my brothers. They love Gumball Head, and they always talk about it. And it's just like the classic drink to go to around here. So I thought, well, might as well just talk about it. Might as well grab it. Honestly, my brother bought these for me, so I was like, hell yeah, free beer. I'm totally down. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna talk about it today on the show. So, you know, that's the best way to have beers, free beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's the same way with me, man. It's all free.
Well, you paid for it a while back, but yeah.
Well, technically, if we want to get super technical, I didn't pay for any of it. It was on my mother-in-law. So, you know.
That's true. That's true. Well, we got a great show for you guys today. We are doing something a little bit different. As you can tell, if you guys are watching the visual version, we have no heroes on the screen right now. We have all question marks, and we have a versus sign up on the screen. So if you guys are checking this out on visual, you can see that. And the reason why we're doing this is we're switching up the way that we're going to play the game today. We're going to not have the draft talked about a little bit beforehand. We're going to actually just go into it. We're going to draft 1 versus 1 here. Kimbrell's my mortal enemy at this point, and we're going to take each other down. He doesn't stand a chance, guys. It's okay. We got this. So, without further ado, we're going to switch over to that and get this whole beautiful look here so that you guys can see this drafting stage. And I am about to hit ready up. You ready to go, Kimbrell?
Yeah, I've already clicked ready. I'm good to go.
I'm keeping us behind. All right, so we're readying up now. Got the classic dinging noises. So Kimbrell's going to be choosing sides here.
I'm going to let you choose since you're the one drafting. So I'm going to let you do your thing.
Okay.
And I don't know if you prefer Radiant or Dire.
I prefer Radiant, but for symmetry on visual ideas, and I have an idea of how to do stuff with the Dire on this draft, so we're going to go Dire today. Now, who gets first pick? Do you get to choose first pick?
No, it just says you get first pick. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well...
I think, or actually, yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay. All right, and it's starting off. Races are starting. What do we start with? So, I'm thinking of something in the future here, and I don't want Kimbrell to take this guy. So we're gonna ban out some Earthshaker. He's classic right now, and there's nothing bad about him. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go against him. He's not too threat heavy, but something good to get rid of.
Yeah, he's been played pretty often, especially recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some games with him in it. I'm going to ban this guy because I hate everything about him. Playing against him, playing as him with the blast, especially against squishy people, especially people who lack stuns. But yeah, that guy is pretty popular right now, and that's my ban.
Yeah, he's for those of you who are listening audio, it is Night Stalker, by the way. He is a terror, and that is a good ban to start us off. But I kind of have a terror in mind as well that I want to get rid of. Something that has generally been the most popular ban in tournaments lately. We're gonna go with that old Bristleback ban, banning him out.
Yes, thank you.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have. Dang it.
No, dude. That's another hero I hate playing against, but I love playing as. So, okay. I'm going to ban. See, this is where I struggle on drafts. Not struggle necessarily. It's just like, do you want to pick meta? Do you want to, if you know what you're going up against, do you want to pick like something they're comfort with? You know, I'm gonna ban Clockwork. I feel like Clockwork is a strong 4. I don't know if he got nerfed. I wasn't able to actually look at the last full patch, but I believe he's still being played as 4 every now and then, right?
Oh yeah, he's still a very popular pick, and I mean the reason why he's so great is because you can be 4 or off lane, so it makes a lot of sense that you're going to go with that. So starting out this draft, I wanted it to be a second pick draft, and we'll see later on why. But I am going to start with this draft. I'm going to go with the classic pick that people are picking all the time right now, Tree. Get me some of that Treant Protector, and we'll see. I got some plans for this Treant. We'll see if Kimbrell can read through the mind of a Flubb.
Okay. Oh, man. So I am going to immediately counter with Gyro. I feel like Gyro's damage from his Fire Blast on towers kind of bursts through that Treant heal. Also, just his magic burst in general. Or not really burst, just damage over time. He does have just kind of hard to deal with, especially in like a team fight. Treant can't heal everybody unless he gets a whatever that skill is, his seed skill.
Leech seed.
So yeah, leech seed. So I feel like Jakiro's a pretty good pick. And then it's always the second pick and second ban where I'm like, what do we want to pick?
Yeah, it's a tricky position to be in for sure.
Yeah. So I don't want to go with the support. I typically like to save, especially if I'm like trying to counter. I like saving the support at least for third or fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So offlane heroes. I'm going to pick Timbersaw. I feel like that hero's pretty strong, and against Treant, I feel like that's pretty good. I mean, chopping down trees is never a good thing for Treant. So
it's true, and he's a strength hero.
And it's a strength hero, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good starter right now. It's a good starter. I think I have something though for you. I think I got a plan. I'm gonna go with another classic pick right now. It's kind of my style, is going 2 classics in the very beginning so that they don't know exactly what's able to be picked. Stuff in meta is generally, I don't pick around meta, but I like to pick at least 2 things in meta so they don't know exactly where it's going. And it's usually flex picks as well on where they can be. This one may not be considered a flex pick to you guys, but it is to me. I'm gonna pick up that Warlock. Give me some more of that team fight.
Okay, that's a good pick. All right. Pretty team fight heavy, and you can push decently well, and then you kind of defend push well too. Okay, I'm going to ban Death Prophet. I feel like she adds, you have the root and you have the AoE from Warlock plus his, I can never remember the name of his damn skill, of his chains. Fatal Bonds, chains. There we go.
Or Fatal Bonds, yeah.
Fatal Bonds, yeah. I feel like that mixed with Death Prophet's probably not going to be great. Also, Silence versus Timbersaw, it's not a good thing.
It's very true. It's very true. And she's got that percentage health suck ability, which is very, very hurtful for someone as big as him. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go down. I kind of planned for this. I'm gonna ban out a TA here. I don't think that he has a lot of physical damage, and that's a lot of physical damage potential in the middle there that he can bring to the table. So I don't want that physical damage to get too crazy. So let's keep that out.
Okay. I'm also gonna ban Lifestealer. I feel like Lifestealer versus Timbersaw and Gyro, he kind of rips through Timbersaw and he can just rage as long as you have catch, and you have a root and a stun. So if he just hops on Timbersaw during that team fight, Timbersaw kind of just dies.
True.
And then he can just rage through Gyro stuff as well. So I feel like it's a decent ban.
It is. It's a good ban. It's a good ban. I'm going to go with someone classic, another classic mid, trying to take out the explosive damage potential on his team, because he has a lot of magic as well there. So I'm going to take out that Lina. Give me a potential to actually survive through his draft.
Okay. So I don't necessarily want an illusion hero. I was thinking Terrorblade for a second, but against the Warlock with his Fatal Bonds and his ult and everything like that, and picking Timbersaw, or not Timbersaw, Terrorblade third probably wouldn't do very well. Enigma probably wouldn't do well, as he could easily get canceled by Warlock. Warlock could just hold on to that golem until Black Hole's done down. And if Warlock's not in the Black Hole, Black Hole's done. So, I think I'm going to go... I'll go with my second support. I'm going to pick a Rubik. I feel like both of the heroes that you have have pretty good spells to pick up, especially Warlock. Because at least 2 of his spells, because I feel like when I play Warlock, I don't use the his slow a ton. I do, depending on situations, but typically when he throws on his ult and his Fatal Bonds, Rubik shouldn't be right in the middle of everything, so you should be able to steal at least the Fatal Bonds or the Golem. So I feel like that should be pretty good.
It's true. It's true. I'm going to pick some more team fight. Make it all the team fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go some Darkseer.
Oh, okay. Just keep on nerfing the hero, please.
No, but like Darkseer with a Treant, man.
Yeah,
that's some potential right there.
Yeah, for sure. You're just running around all invis with your ion shell, and that sounds like a terrible time. Team fight. Oh man, I don't have a ton of lockdown.
Yeah, you have some.
I have a little, not a ton. Like nothing. No, not a ton of AoE lockdown. I have Ice Path, but that doesn't. I don't know. The skill is so off. If you're really good at Jakiro, then it's great. But if you're just kind of like, yeah, I'll play Jakiro, that's no. I'm gonna. Okay, I'm gonna go with Faceless Void. He's my one of my favorites. So.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So he's going with that Faceless Void. I got a plan. I'm gonna go Bloodseeker.
Okay. I want to ask you why while I try to decide on the ban.
Well,
because I feel like Timbersaw can go Blade Mail and kind of outlasts that Bloodseeker's ult. Faces Void's jump doesn't really. I don't think it affects him, right? I don't.
It doesn't. No, jump does not affect the rupture timer. No. So.
Okay. Ban OD.
Okay, ban OD. All right. Makes some sense. I got some time here, so that could be a problem. Yeah. I don't think any of that's a problem now. Okay. I'm gonna ban out Venomancer in this situation because it would give him some push, give him a person to have Chrono in the back. Yeah, it's not a lot of cancel, but it gives him a lot of damage as a core that he could kind of come out of nowhere with. So let's ban out that Veno to make sure he doesn't have that problem. So that we don't have that problem. And my last pick is kind of a weird one. You haven't seen it in a while. Get some of that Gyro in there. Gyro Copter.
So, crazy team fight. Who? Oh, is Warlock your mid? Is that what's happened? No. Is Gyro your mid? Who's your mid?
Well, we'll have to see by the end, right?
Okay.
We'll have to give it a last second.
Okay. So I got not much time. Versus Gyro Copter. Okay.
Got 5 seconds, buddy. Oh, okay. He's going for Silencer. All right. So now at this point, I'm going to just run through all the picks here. So what we have on Kimbrell's team, for those listeners, if you guys trying to keep it straight out there, we got a Jakiro, we got a Timbersaw, Rubik, Void, and Silencer. On my team, I got a Treant, a Warlock, a Darkseer, a Bloodseeker, and a Gyro. Alright, so now we're going to pick on the site they have the availability of like assigning positions before we call it a game. And we're going to take a second here to assign positions. We need some freaking Jeopardy music or something in the background.
I could lane this in a couple different ways, actually. I could put the Timber mid. I could put the Silencer mid. I could put a Gyro mid. That'd be fun. Okay, I think I've got my lane, so I won't.
I got mine.
Ah, we both got dual lanes. Okay.
All right. So what we're seeing here is we got Gyro and Faceless Void are on the Radiant, and they're going to be going top versus my Gyro and Warlock. Our mid matchup is going to be Bloodseeker versus on the Dire versus the Radiant Timbersaw. And then we're going to have on the bottom side, we're going to have a Silencer core, I would assume, with a Rubik supporting him down there and on the Radiant side. And then the Dire side is going to have Darkseer Treant. Alright, so pretty cool draft. I actually think I have you, my friend, on this one. I think I do. You probably disagree here, but I got some great comebacks from what's going on here. So you got Timbersaw mid. Timbersaw mid's pretty decent, but he can't dish out damage, and he can't last hit versus a Quelling Blade Bloodseeker. He is really strong right now. Like classic pub style Darkseer is crazy strong right now. Going for that Quelling Blade, the natural last hit ability of him. If you don't have like strong roamers onto that position, he just dominates over the lane and last hits and just steals the farm and experience out of there. Then we got that Darkseer Treant combo down at bottom. I'm gonna put those shields on him. I'm gonna put those ion shells on him, and I'm gonna start punching people. I'm gonna force you out of lane hopefully because I'm gonna be invis. And then I got Warlock to kind of keep that gyrocopter at a safe distance. You can kind of heal him up, keep him living, but he still has that availability to play a little safe. You could stack the jungle for him if you need to. And you can also do those stacks not only with flat cannon, but you can flat cannon into a fatal bonds. So you can kind of, even if my top lane goes bad, I still have some pullback from it. And out of all of that, my friend, out of all of that, look at that team fight. So we got Overgrowth into Chaotic Offering or the Giant Slow, either one. So there's team fight. You can also have a call down on top of any of those combinations. You can also do silence on top of all those combinations. You also got Vac. You got that Vol Vac. So you got huge team fight. And the silencer pick is very painful. I can't get around that. But I have a lot of disengage, and I do have a lot of guys that are tanky or fast to be able to get out of that situation. So there's some play there that you can have, and there's still easily mech carriers, and there's still a pipe carrier. So you have a lot of potential out there. Really, the hardest thing about your draft is that you have a silencer. And the only guy that's going to be pushing is the Gyro, and I still have a lot of anti-push for you. So, what do you see about your draft? How are you going to destroy my draft, my friend?
Okay, so the lanes right now are not great in my favor. So, I think with the lanes set up the way they are, you definitely win. If I wanted to switch up the lanes with the Bloodseeker mid, I could put the Gyro or the Silencer mid and just harass them out of lane. Probably the Gyro, I think. I feel like a melee core versus Gyro's abilities, you're going to take a ton of damage, and you can heal, sure, on other creeps. But I don't think you're going to last through the Liquid Fire and the Dual Breath until like later levels, until probably like 7, where your last hit healing ability is a Blood Right. That's what it is.
It's Blood Right's the thing you lay down. It's
okay.
Blood Rage. Blood Rage is his.
Yeah, Blood Rage. Okay, so until that's like probably I would say level 2 or probably level 3. I don't think it does decently against it like a Gyro. So if I ran Gyro mid, and I put So you have your Treant in the off lane with your Dark Seer. So this is just basing off of like what you have here, because I honestly I think I lose with the way the lanes are set up right now. So just switching it up, the only way I can think about beating your draft is putting Timbersaw safe lane with another core, or not another core, a support, probably like Rubik or something, probably Rubik actually, and then doing an aggro duel with the silencer and faceless. I don't feel like that'd be okay. I guess it'd be okay because silencer could orb walk while faceless kind of hits things and runs away whenever he gets hit. So I feel like that'd be okay. Timbersaw would be able to take away the trees, so Treant's not able to run around punching people with ion shells often. Rubik just kind of down there to help with that if he gets too close and you know, roots him and faceless can't jump and all that stuff. There's a lift. Also, just having a support for the wards would be good. The Gyro mid versus the Bloodseeker, I feel like it would be okay. I feel like that's kind of eventually kind of evens out. And Silencer's kind of there for that team fight, because once one all goes down and you guys are together, Silencer's going to lay out his silence. And that's not always good for. He's going to dish out some damage, but as a support, that's all we basically need him for. And I feel like if we want to win and maybe push down a little earlier before Treant gets his healing at a higher level, then winning team fights is definitely necessary. So having the Gyro higher level, excuse me, it's probably better than having the Silencer. As long as Silencer has a 6 and we can group up, silence your team fight, I think it's okay. So we would have to win a little earlier, and we'd have to mix up the lanes. But I like your draft. It's a lot of fun. It's a little unorthodox. I don't see. I don't know, like Gyrocopter. I forgot that hero even existed. Besides, like one game I played recently where I was just like, "Hey, that guy's a hero." The other heroes are good though. I mean, Bloodseeker is such an odd pick. I don't know if he's been picked in pro games recently. You said something about him going mid with the Iron Talon or the Quelling Blade in pubs. So, but it's a pub destroyer for sure. Like, I hate playing against that hero so much because other people don't understand. You know, if you TP to lane, either have an extra TP or go to the side shop to get a TP. And be cautious until that TP is close to being on cooldown, and people just don't get that, and so they'll go out there without a TP and they'll just kind of farm the lane, and then they get Bloodseeker ulted and they just die because they don't have anything else to do.
Oh, most definitely. Thing is, though, my friend, is that Bloodseeker was picked up recently. He was actually picked up by Liquid in the Epicenter games, so he actually does have some clout in the. He doesn't have like clout in the meta right now, and he's not something that's 100% picked up. But his just sorry, go ahead. Like a last.
Oh no, I was just saying, like as a last pick or a fourth pick, it seems pretty strong.
His actual potential to deny people out of lane, like to deny creeps and heal from them. I know the whole thing doesn't seem like you can last in the lane, but you really can last against a lot of availability because you get a massive heal on it, and you have to get there before, like, his level 1 is what beats people out. Like, Jakiro's great at harassment, but he gets great at harassment when he hits, like, level 3. And he's good at level 1 to deny people the experience to be able to even get there.
I'm curious if you put Silencer mid versus Bloodseeker, and Silencer gets 1 in glaives, and then he maxes his last word ability. So when Bloodseeker uses his Blood Rage, he's silenced for a bit. Then you can also max your Q against Bloodseeker, because he's wanting to use that Blood Rage constantly, so he can always heal. He can last hit better. And I'm curious if that would kind of punish him for doing that, for using that as often as he would need to.
I think that's a better matchup, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know if the potential of harassment would be high enough, because if you have a good enough Bloodseeker, you can kind of play that level still and still use your Blood Rage to hit just right, and you can do all that we're talking all that without any items for regen, and you can build items for regen if it gets too bad in mid, or have
Right.
like the availability of picking up a what is it? Raindrops. Raindrops are really good on that hero right now. Okay, yeah, you get that extra damage boost if they hit you with magic, which is like a lot of ways how people try to get him out of lane. It's like, okay, well, I still have that buffer barrier, and it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. Also, the thing I really like about this is that I saw Liquid do this, and it's a really great move, and it's something I always would love to do. If you can get the farm, which you generally do in mid, you get Midas on Bloodseeker, and then you get Radiance. And if you have Radiance and Ion Shell on a Bloodseeker, he just runs at people, and they die in 2 seconds. It is insane. And then, even if they do kill the Bloodseeker, you have so good team fight. Like, that is crazy good team fight. You can take them 4v5 if the Bloodseeker gets knocked out really quick. I wouldn't want to, but if you have to, then you can.
Right. So a dream scenario, like team fight for you, would be like all 5 of us are grouped up for some dumb reason, and we get vacuumed into Warlock ult, so everybody's stunned. Then Treant ults, so Faceless can't jump and Chrono or anything like that, right? Because he's rooted.
Mm-hmm. It would root both Timbersaw and
right.
Floyd.
Bloodseeker uses his AoE silence.
That's honestly it. Just having AoE silence and the root before the silence comes out, that would win a game. Because like once you start both of them, they're going to happen. Treant's invisible, and if you can time it just right with the silence, then both teams are silenced, or most of one team is silenced, and all of your team is silenced. And then you still have Gyro ult, Vac, and Golem with Fatal Bonds and just wreckage.
This is kind of off topic a little bit. Sort of on topic, but
yeah.
Do you imagine this team with Treant if he still had his ability to make others invisible? Because then you're just rolling through the jungle with this crazy team fight invis, and then there's like surprise and just take out an entire team.
Oh yeah, yep. This is actually this draft. I was kind of thinking back. This is an old draft of mine. I recently came up with this, but this was an old draft of mine like 4 years ago or 5 years ago. So they had some. There's some style of plays when heroes were better at certain points. You can kind of play those to those strengths. But honestly, I think that these heroes have some good points right now. I think Mask of Madness is really good on Gyro if you set it up just right and you use all of your abilities real quick, and then you hit your Mask of Madness at the end when like people are locked down and you already have your flat cannon available.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other things like that too that make these heroes really good, and you can disassemble that item now, which who's the hero that seems to always go freaking, what is it? Not Reaver. Satanic and Butterfly. Satanic and Butterfly, I always think Gyro, man. Yeah. Interesting drafts. This was fun though. I was not expecting it to go like this. This is pretty cool. We're gonna have to do this again. Try to get this again next week.
Yeah, I like the format like this. It's really interesting because you just kind of get the reactionary picks. Like I banned the Death Prophet, right? I actually thought that hero would do pretty well with the team fight that you already had. Mm-hmm. And then you just go out and you pick a Bloodseeker who also has an AoE silence, and then just runs around and kills people. Because also another thing with your team fight is if you get the root and I don't even know, you get the root and the Gyro ult off at the same time. Say only Faceless wood regions from his jump. Bloodseeker's still going to be running around like crazy because all his heroes are going to be 3/4 to a half HP, and he's just going to be a speed racer Bloodseeker.
Yep.
So
that's the beauty of the draft, my friend.
Crazy.
And actually, Kimbrell had this idea, and it's a really good idea. We're going to talk about now about what I was planning to do. So we did get some changes here, and we're playing on the moment. And I actually had this written down, Kimbrell, that my first draft that I wanted to do was actually a little bit different, and I chose the side options. So my side options were what you see here, but my first idea for the draft was Treant, Warlock, Elder Titan, Bloodseeker, Chaos Knight. Pretty weird draft, but I think that one's actually just as successful. And same thing. I would have Treant and Elder Titan go bottom, force people out of lane, get a lot of pressure down there, get Warlock and Chaos Knight together, which sounds like a crazy good combo. You want to talk about a carry that's never gonna die? Warlock and Chaos Knight, man. That Chaos Knight's just gonna farm and farm and farm. And then Bloodseeker mid. Once again, you still have all that AoE team fight. You got Elder Titan and all his jazz. You got the Warlock, Treant, and Bloodseeker. And then you got Chaos Knight to be able to push down towers. Offers a lot of single target damage. Kind of like pulls up the draft from his bootstraps at that point. And that's why I actually banned out the Earthshaker at the very beginning. I know it didn't seem like it was that important when you got to the end of this draft, but it was like,
yeah, I get you.
I can't use Chaos Knight versus Timbersaw. There's no way.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a cool draft. Chaos Knight is one of those heroes though that I feel like if he gets behind, he's screwed. Unless you have some good team fights and he's around and gets AoE gold or kill gold. That dude does not flash farm whatsoever. And I just found that in, like the 4K 82L games, I believe we picked it for our carry player once or twice, and it's like one game he got behind, and it's hard to come back from that, because then you're a carry. Your carry is kind of out of the game if he's an item or two behind. And then there's some carries, if they get an item or two behind, they can farm it real quick, like a Juggernaut or something like that, if he has like a Maelstrom or a Juggernaut by himself, or a Lina or whatever. But a Chaos Knight, he's just one of those heroes that's like, oh, you're behind, we lost.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I actually feel like, now that I'm looking at this draft and I'm talking to you, one of the things I was really afraid of while you were picking was possibly an Ursa pick. I kind of wanted to stay away from trying to ban out Ursa this week. I wanted to have answers to him, because I feel like every week I'm like, man, this hero's so scary. I just don't want to deal with him, and I always ban him out like second phase. But I think I have a couple answers, and what I kind of ultimately decided was that I still have a Warlock Fatal Bonds to hopefully cancel out his blink. You still got the drop from the Golem to keep him locked down, even if he gets BKB or gets if he gets an Aghanim Scepter, he can get through that. But I still feel like that there's still ways to at least kite you a little bit on this, whereas my past drafts don't feel as strong. The only thing that sucks about it is, though, those two guys are very vulnerable if you get some lockdown in lane with with an Ursa just being able to swipe them down. So,
yeah, sweet. I also, another reason why I like doing this is I haven't drafted in months now.
Yeah.
So I know it's not like the same pressure wise, because you're not, in game, you don't have the timer, you don't have freaking Crystal Maiden yelling at you, 5 seconds remaining, and it's like, oh shit, but it helps me, one, being able to visualize, and two, just kind of going through the motions, I guess, because this was one of my this is why we have the show. This was one of my favorite parts of the entire game, is drafting against another person, looking up their Dota buff and seeing what their team's comfort heroes are, and then just kind of going from there and seeing what they've won with, and then seeing what they're picking and what they're banning and all that stuff, and just kind of playing mind games. It's just my favorite thing. So getting out of touch with that kind of stuff, because then I was like, I gotta think of a draft. I don't even know.
Yep, you get a a certain feeling while you're playing. And actually, some of your most genius times are the times where I am rushed. There's certain games where I just have an idea. One of the things that a lot of my friends really praised me for whenever I was playing on Ham, the team really praised me for picking a Sand King safe lane. And we were looking at their draft, and we knew that they had a melee offlaner. And I was like, let's just put Sand King there. Like, Skrunk is crazy good at this hero. Let's just put him there, and let's just move our tri lane to the off lane. Yeah, and it worked phenomenally well. And actually, like, the tri lane didn't work out as well, but bottom just completely destroyed them. And it was an idea that I had. I was like, yeah, it's something in the back of my mind. But when the pressure came out, it wasn't something that I would have like planned ahead of time. You know, like setting up drafts for like a week or so in advance, even like months sometimes. You don't think of that stuff. And like when the pressure's on in these draft type systems, you get to have that feeling of urgency and, oh, I can make my draft go like this because they pick that one possible thing, and this is their weakness.
Yeah. Like, one of my favorite drafts of ours was, like, it was back when Luna Shadow Demon was really popular. I believe I talked about it. It was Luna Shadow Demon, and Leshrac. Like, the pushing potential in that is just crazy. And then the damage, you would ball them, you would disrupt them, and then you would Leshrac stun to follow up, and then they would just kind of die. Yeah. And we just decided to run that as an aggro try. I was just like, let's do that. That sounds like fun. Let's do that, and then we'll put something in the off lane or in the safe lane that can pretty much get any kind of farm that the hero wants. Mm-hmm. And so it was like a Beastmaster or something like that. That was just like, it worked out so well. So like when those, you're completely right. Like when those situations arise in games and you're drafting and you're like, oh, holy shit! Like this is really good. Let's do this, and then you get kind of praised for it or whatever. Like, oh my god, that was such a genius idea after the game. it's I don't know. It's just great.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've talked about the possibility of what I could have done, and looking at this draft now, I kind of am keeping it on the screen so I can make sure that I know the heroes. But I'll switch it back, actually. Here, give me just a second. I'm going to switch it back so you guys can see the beautiful logos that we have and everything. So, there we go. Set back up. We got all these different heroes. And my ideas here, so that people can kind of understand what the items are going to be available, is that you're going to want Bloodseeker to get the midas and the going to some type of boots. You know, generally I prefer going into the phase boots. It helps you last hit, kind of gives you that presence in lane a little bit stronger with the Quelling Blade. You can get the availability of going into treads. It really helps you out, gives you a little bit more tankiness. Something that I've kind of started to stray away from myself, and I actually kind of picked it up from another player, was that you don't necessarily need to build a blade mail on him as much anymore. You don't want him to be tanky. You want him to kind of do the pub style thing that he always does, where he gets a midas, he gets a lot of great farm from it, and then he gets the radiance to even multiply it even further, gets him a lot of chase down potential, because he's not there to do the damage. Your team is there to do the damage, and then he's there to have super fast move speed and then pick people off where it's important. So having those items that guarantee some type of damage on the outer rim, where he doesn't have to get right up on top of people since he's a melee hero, that's what's important. So you want to go for that style of build. Sometimes, if you need to, you can get Yules or things like that to stop their TPs. But in general, I'd never, ever, ever go 4-staff build. 4-staff build is a silly build, and I almost win versus it. I feel like I have a win percent rate, like 80% versus that. That never works. I don't think Bloodseeker 4-staff is a thing. No.
Have your other teammates build a 4-staff if you want to do that silly stuff.
Exactly.
Have your supports build it.
Yep.
Real quick, I'm going to interrupt you. Have you seen the video Bloodseeker Tusk? Where
no, I have not.
Tusk gets an Ags.
Oh,
Bloodseeker
yes.
Tusk.
Yes. Okay.
It is the
Go
like
ahead.
it's dumb, but it's the greatest thing of all time because it's just one of those cheesy ass things, and it probably won't ever win you a game. They're just running around with a Bloodseeker ult, and then Tusk ults or uses his Ags, whatever it is, Walrus Kick or whatever, and they're like, they're dead. It's crazy. Anyway, continue with your.
No. That's a really good point. I totally forgot about that because like you said, it's such a ridiculous idea because Walrus Kick is like the worst ability in the game, and it's from an Ags build. It's like, whatever. I hate this ability, and it makes it work with one other hero. I actually considered putting Tusk in this draft just to do that crazy nastiness, but I was like, I don't want to be flamed too much for being ridiculous, original, weird guy. So I stayed away from Tusk, but that's a really good point. I totally forgot about that. And if you're ever interested, you can look that up. It's really funny to watch. Yeah, so we got that Bloodseeker kind of figured out on what items he needs. So we're going to need Darkseer. Darkseer is going to be your bread and butter at keeping your guys alive, keeping your push available, getting that mech, getting that pipe, letting the classic Darkseer do his thing. He actually doesn't really need the blink because you have Treant and you have Warlock to start things out and then vacuum them into that situation. So the Darkseer doesn't really need that potential to initiate that he normally would. Plus, he's also can speed boost these people into situations, and that's one thing I didn't really express, is that you can speed boost one of these guys, or you can even use Darkseer to speed boost Bloodseeker, and then he gets bonuses on top of that, and you can just zooming. So there's a lot of interaction between all of that, and you can use your teammate to get to that point. Yeah, so Darkseer, get that availability of team fight potential. Going into the Warlock, you're going to want to try to get some type of availability of being the guy who's going to try to get. You want those Ags, those refreshers. Those are really nice. But honestly, in this game, if you can't get that, there's some games you just can't go Midas. And if you can't get the Midas, if you can't get that bounce back potential, then it's really easy just to go Force Staff, like Kimbrell said. You just go Force Staff. You Force Staff that guy that's bloodied, or you Force Staff your teammates out of a bad situation. And it's something that a lot of people don't recognize, is that like Warlock is great to have all of that stuff for late game, but he can do other things too. So just feel the game out, feel where your team is at, and if you need to, go Force Staff and Glimmer on this team, because most likely that's going to be the way that you're going to have to go. Treant is going to be focusing on most of the warding. He's going to have probably mana boots and pretty bare besides that. I actually would pick up an urn on him just to kind of set up the availability of being able to kill people by himself later on in the game. Darkseer with a Ion Shell on him, setting someone up on a weak support with a urn charge on them just kind of kills them. Plus it helps you with your push potential and it doesn't put so much on the Darkseer getting his items. With Chaos Knight, or not Chaos Knight, with Gyro, since I switched it up, Gyro is going to be wanting to go into being able to right click and right click heavy. So you're going to want the chase down potential, you're going to want the availability of trying to last hit. So if you're in a lane that, like Kimbrell had set up, where there's a dual lane going versus you, you're going to want those phase boots to be able to last hit. Otherwise, you're going to want to have treads, keep yourself useful for the late game, get all that attack damage, because you're going to want to attack super fast and just knock people down low enough so that Bloodseeker can clean it up. So going to the treads, or obviously the phase boots, and then getting Aquila is really nice, grabbing into the Mask of Madness, breaking it up eventually to get the butterfly, and the satanic is always good. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go down, obviously kind of helping it out. There's Monkey King Bar, there's a lot of good things that you can just pick up for the hero. Ags is always popular on the hero as well, and honestly, it's not bad. You can always use the Ags to kind of help yourself out and use your potential to tank up. Because if you have a tanky Gyro, a tanky tree, then you can kind of like frontline with those two and have your Bloodseeker and your Dark Seer and Warlock kind of sitting in the near back lines to help everything out.
Yeah, I think the Ags would like be overkill probably on your team fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pretty decent item. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those Ags that when it first came out, I was like, what the hell? And then after a while, it kind of grew on me like, this actually isn't like terrible. Like it works if it's in a certain situation. So
you're talking about the Gyro Ags with the little guy on the side, the shooter.
Yeah. Sorry, the Gyro Ags.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you're talking about Warlock or not, but
Warlock Ags is great. Like that's it's not necessary. It's not like some other heroes or whatever. Some other support heroes that like sometimes just need an Ags, but his is great. But when you have that, if you get to like level 20, I think you have that extra golem on death. That's enough, I think. So you could go 4-staff greaves or something like that. I don't know. Well, your Dark Seer's already going to go greaves, but
5 golems, man. 5 golems.
Jeez.
Yep. So yeah, there's that potential right there. And honestly, man, we are actually kind of running long. I didn't even realize it. We're not running too long. We're just going we're past the 50-minute mark. So let's if you have anything else that you want to say about the drafts or anything.
No, just one more thing. While we're doing this, Immortal 2's just dropped. And one of your heroes is actually in the Immortal, or actually 2 of your heroes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bloodseeker and Treant are in it. Treant is kind of wonky looking, but
nice.
Anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, that just dropped. It's kind of cool.
All right, guys. Well, let's listen to the closeout, obviously, and the rating the beers, because that's your favorite part, right? That's why everyone's here for. And let's all go play some Dota here in a little bit. So, Kimbrell, how you gonna rate your beer today, man? I know you probably said 5.
It's a 5. It's so easy to drink, and it's probably a bias. It's definitely a bias. It's something that I've
it's kind of like grown up on.
Yeah, besides like cheap beer, it's like the first beer I kind of had like that I was like, hey, this is pretty good. It was my stepdad was like, hey, do you want to, when I was underage, and he was like, hey, I'm your dad, you can have a beer in front of me. We're watching, sports. It's one of those things. So I was like, yeah, sure. And I've had this since I was like, I don't know, man, 18, 19. It's just one of those it's just my go-to.
It's your go-to. Yeah.
So it's a 5 for me.
Yep, makes sense. I got, obviously, my family, we're kind of having a family day beer, I guess. My family beer, not one that we personally made or anything, but the Gumball Head. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as what my brothers say. It's going to be a 4 out of 5. Once again, it's a wheat beer, so if you like wheat beer, it's got some kick to it compared to most wheat beers. It's kind of got like a sour taste to it. That doesn't really sound probably good to you guys, but for some reason it works with this wheat beer, and it's honestly the art is some of my favorite. It's like a upset cat that's smoking a cigarette, and it's got like, it looks like an astronaut cat. So like 5 out of 5 on the art on it. It's awesome. But the beer, I'm just gonna give it a 4. So, all right, guys. So we have to go to close out. All good things must end. So at the end here, I wanted to kind of let you guys know you can always follow us on our new Twitter. We're going to be kind of switching stuff up here in the next couple weeks. So if you want any news on what we're going to be doing, you can follow us at our Twitter at ZPandaStudios. You can also help us out by subscribing or liking any of our videos. You can go to our current Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ToffeesTV, and our Twitch channel for our new brand is going to be what, Kimbrell? It's going to be...
It is... I believe it's the same as the Twitter. Let me actually... No, it's not. It's twitch.tv/ZombiePandaStudios.
All right, cool. So you guys can follow us there here probably next week. And our YouTube channel is currently 5 Midas Gaming, all one word. If you want to listen to any of our podcasts instead of the VODs, you can find them on Stitcher, iTunes, or SoundCloud. If you want to, you can. If you have any questions for me or Kimbrell, you can follow me at my Twitter at FlubbDota, and you can follow Kimbrell at his Twitter at skimbrell_. If you have any questions for me about casting or whatever needs you need about Dota, you can always send me an email at crazyflubb@gmail.com. Alright guys, I'm glad to have a brew with you today, and let's go play some freaking Dota. Let's go play with the Immortals and have some fun.
Yeah, man. I've been playing way too much I've been playing way too much shooting games. I want some Dota. Let's do it.
Way too much PUBG, huh? Way too much PUBG. It's a popular bug, my friend. It's a popular bug, so.
Oh, yes.
Alright, guys. Well, we'll catch you guys next week or for Sunday on the Flubb Update. See you guys later.
Bye, everyone.